Hydrangeas provide summer color like few other flowering shrubs, but they have a reputation, and we often hear that gardeners are intimidated by these popular plants. While some types of hydrangeas are infamous for being picky, there are some that are easier to grow than others. Hi, this is Amy from Gardening Know-How, and I'm going to share 3 types of hydrangeas that are hardy, reliable bloomers that are ultra easy to grow. With over 70 species and probably hundreds of commercially available hydrangea cultivars, picking the right hydrangea can be daunting. Each species has something to offer, be it interesting foliage, bloom color, overall size, or level of winter hardiness. While some types are tough to grow, many are adaptable and thrive in a wide array of conditions. So let's dive in and take a look at the 3 types of no-fuss, all-thrills hydrangeas for the landscape. The winner for the easiest hydrangea to grow is the oakleaf, and it's easy to see where the oakleaf hydrangea gets its name. The leaves are shaped much like the leaves of an oak tree, but these leaves can grow large, up to 12 inches wide or more. Plus, this dramatic foliage changes to shades of red and burgundy in the fall, extending the season of color right up until winter. Although the advantages of growing this species extends far beyond the foliage. Unlike common types of hydrangeas, the oakleaf types can tolerate both sun and shade, dry soil, and are more disease and pest resistant than other hydrangea types. They begin to bloom early in the summer with their unique cone-shaped blooms, often growing up to 12 inches long. The white flowers then age to deep pink or red. In hydrangea terminology, these plants bloom on old wood, meaning the flower buds are produced the prior season. Many hydrangeas succumb to winter damage and the buds are killed, resulting in a lack of bloom, but not the oakleaf. These ultra-hardy plants will bloom consistently each and every year. Because they bloom on old wood, we do not recommend to prune this group. Spent flowers may be deadheaded right after they fade, but it is not necessary. There are many varieties of this species, including those that grow upwards of 10 feet tall and wide, and those that are tiny but mighty, growing to just 3 foot tall. So check with your local garden center for their best recommendations. This is a shrub with multi-season interest that is a must for any landscape. Panicle hydrangeas are just as easy to grow as oakleaf hydrangeas, but they do benefit from a bit of spring pruning to shape up the plant. For more information on pruning hydrangeas, see the video link in the description below. Even with this bit of extra work, they do have one leg up on their oakleaf cousins. Not only are panicle hydrangeas available as shrubs, but they are also available in grafted tree forms, which makes them much more flexible in the landscape. Plus, these panicle types can be grown out in full direct sun, but will also tolerate some shade. Unlike other common types of hydrangeas, panicle types can also tolerate soil on the drier side. Whereas some types, such as the Mophead group, and I will talk more about those later, will wilt at the first sign of sun or dryness. This species will not succumb to such pressure. Use these upright shrubs as a specimen plant or a flowering hedge, or to hide unsightly views such as air conditioners and utility boxes. Tree forms also make a terrific choice to flank the sides of an entrance or as the focal point in a perennial garden. This easy-to-grow, adaptable species blooms on new wood only. So basically, no matter what kind of harsh winter conditions occur, this plant will bloom consistently each and every summer. Their huge, almost football-shaped flowers often open in shades of white or even green, fading to pink or red as the season progresses. The blooms last well until frost, resulting in months and months of delightful flowers. The most popular panicle variety of all time is Limelight. The flowers open in celadon green, then change to white, and finally fade to shades of pink, red, and burgundy throughout the season. This variety is a great choice for those wanting height, as they can grow upwards of 8 feet tall. Also growing tall is Quickfire. The flowers open earlier than other panicle varieties, and they are well loved by our pollinating friends. If you are short on space, there are many newer varieties such as Bobo that really pack a punch at just 3 foot tall. Hydrangea arborescens, also known as the smooth hydrangea or the wild hydrangea, are really gaining in popularity, and for good reason. These shrubs, native to the United States, are often grown as hedges, but even one plant in your landscape will provide that wow factor you are looking for. They are prized for their extra large blooms, some the size of basketballs, that open white, with some aging to a lush jade green, persisting through frost. This hydrangea, with rock-solid reliability, is a favorite of southern gardeners as they can tolerate hotter climates, but are also very hardy for those up in the north. Annabelle is the most widely recognized variety, but the stems often have a tendency to flop from the weight of the blooms, so staking may be necessary. Luckily, there have been new and improved introductions with strong, sturdy stems that often stay erect and upright all season long. One such variety to consider is Incrediball. This plant with supersized flowers is easy to grow, fulfilling the need for a medium-sized shrub in the landscape. Incrediball grows to around 4 to 5 feet tall and wide. This species also blooms on new wood, resulting in dependable bloom each summer. Prune these shrubs back in late winter or early spring to not only promote sturdier stems with abundant blooms, but to keep the plants at a more manageable size. By now, you may have noticed I have only recommended hydrangeas with white flowers. So what about those pretty blue, pink, or purple blooms that you see at the garden center? While these types of hydrangeas are classic and do have appeal for gardeners with patience and amnesty, they were kept off this list for good reason. This type is known to be very picky. If you are a beginner hydrangea grower, I would not recommend starting with Hydrangea macrophylla, also known as the Mophead hydrangea. They require part shade, lots of moisture, and mild winters in order to remain healthy and bloom. They will often wilt during the heat of the day and fail to bloom because of winter damage. Most varieties in this species bloom on old wood only. The buds that are produced the season before should burst into color early in the summer, but the buds often become damaged or killed by drastic changes in temperature over the winter, or even a late frost in the spring, even in warmer zones. Now, the root system is very winter hardy, and the plant will form new branches and leaves, but the plant will not produce blooms, leaving you disappointed. The same is true for hydrangeas in the serrata species, also referred to as mountain hydrangeas. You may be familiar with newer introductions in this group that bloom on both old wood and new wood. While this is true, having to wait longer in the season for the flowers, if they bloom at all, can also be disappointing. The Oakleaf Hydrangea that I had mentioned earlier also blooms on old wood, but is much more cold hardy than its cousin and a much better choice for reliable bloom. Many of these easy to grow types that I had mentioned are adaptable in the landscape, but to ensure the best success, you'll want to give them the best possible start, and that begins at planting. Amending the soil with organic matter and an application of fertilizer will get these plants off to a great start. Plus, a bit of annual spring maintenance will help achieve healthy and robust plants. This includes pruning, feeding, and mulching. Our video on the top 5 tips for springtime hydrangea care can be found with the link in the description below. So now you have the know-how to pick the easiest, low-maintenance hydrangeas for your garden. One word of warning though, these plants are addicting. Once you have one, you will want more. You'll be hooked in no time. For more information on hydrangeas and their care, please visit us at gardeningknowhow.com and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching and happy gardening!